proceedings, where he admitted to using the name of ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo, alias OBJ, to defraud a businessman, Mr. Bamidele Olusegun Safriyu, to the tune of 270 million naira. In a judgment, Justice Taiwo ordered the convict to give 20 million naira to the complainant. He is also to forfeit 4 vehicles recovered during a search of his home at 18 Joke Ayo Street, Alabado, Lagos, and many others. Justice Taiwo said that the action of the convict shows the lengths scammers can go to defraud innocent victims, adding that he portrayed himself to be a general. He so perfected the scam by the level of his education that one wonders if such an individual should be allowed to walk scot-free. The fake Army general was charged by the EFCC on a 13-count charge bordering on obtaining money by false pretense, forgery of documents, and possession of documents containing false pretense values of 266,500,000 naira. He was arraigned on April 11, 2022 on offenses contrary to Section 1, Subsection 3 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act 2006, Section 363 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015, and Section 6 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act number 14 of 2006, respectively. The People's Democratic Party has expressed optimism about winning the July 16 governorship election in Osun State. The party's acting national chairman, Omar Damagum, made the declaration while receiving the report of reconciliation of the Ogun State chapter of the party on Wednesday at the party's headquarters in Abuja. He said that the assignment was really one of the best we can say in terms of reconciliation, and in less than 6 to 7 weeks the assignment was given. We have seen your handiwork. Speaking further, he said that the report will go a long way not only in Osun State but also in other states. The chairman of the reconciliation panel, Eyitayo Jegede San, while making the submission, stated that the factions have agreed to work together for the progress of the party, having been brought to a round table. He noted that they were also able to extract commitments from all the sides, that the only way to achieve success is if they were united. Nasarawa State has confirmed 6 cases of monkeypox in 2 local government areas, confirming the outbreak of the disease in Lafia. The State Commissioner of Health, Ahmed Baba Yahaya, said the first case was reported in Kefi local government in May this year. According to the Commissioner, healthcare workers in the state have been sensitized and trained on the occurrence of the disease, while drugs and essential commodities have been procured and treatment obtained in all general hospitals and the Federal Medical Center, Kefi. He said an emergency operational center for monkeypox have been created and activated, while an incident manager has been appointed, adding that all necessary measures have been put in place in strategic areas to fight against the spread of the disease in the state. He said monkeypox, which is a viral disease caused by the monkeypox virus, lasts for 2 to 4 weeks and is characterized by fever, headache, muscle pains, swollen limb. Ahmed advised the people to report suspected symptoms to the nearest medical facilities in the state, as well as maintaining environmental hygiene in their respective communities. The All Progressive Congress deputy governorship candidate in Taraba, Eliyasu Kirim, on Thursday assured stakeholders and his supporters that the crisis in the state's chapter of the party will soon end. Kirim, who is the running mate to the APC governorship candidate Senator Emmanuel Buacha, disclosed this while addressing journalists shortly after his arrival in Jalingo from Abuja. His assurance comes after some aggrieved APC aspirants in the state have dragged Buacha to court challenging his emergence as a governorship candidate, but Kirim assured that the party was still intact, saying that the little skirmishes heard about are normal things that form internal party issues that will be sorted out in the course of time. He called on the citizens to support the party and the governorship candidate to move the state forward. This is even as he assured the people that a new Taraba would emerge after the party's victory at the poll, and urged them to obtain their PVCs to vote out the PDP in the 2023 elections. The governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Plateau State, Dr. Nentawe Yewatade, has picked the Commissioner of Works, Honorable Pam Butmang, as his running mate, unveiling his running mate at the APC Secretariat in Jos after consultations with critical stakeholders in the state. Netanyahu said that he is happy to announce Bootmang as his running mate in the 2023 governorship election in Plateau State. He therefore called on the good people of Plateau State to support the choice of Bootmang as his running mate and enjoined them to come out en masse to vote for them during the forthcoming 2023 general elections. The People's Democratic Party has condemned the spate of insecurity and the audacity with which terrorists ravage the country unchallenged under what the party terms rudderless or progressive Congress administration. According to the opposition party, the simultaneous terrorist attacks on the advanced convoy of President Muhammadu Buhari in Katsina State as well as the correctional facility in Abuja, the nation's capital, underscores the collapse of the nation's security command and control structure. In the PDP's opinion, the failure of the APC to tame the violence and secure the citizens only adds to affirming assertions that the ruling party is complicit in the matter. PDP spokesman Honorable Debo Ologunaba in a statement noted that the terrorist attack on President Buhari's convoy in his home state of Katsina as well as the ferocious invasion and the freeing of hundreds of terrorists and criminals from the Kuje correctional facility further confirmed that Mr. President has lost control of the security of the nation and that Nigerians are no longer safe under the APC. The PDP, through its spokesman, demanded that the APC government should come clean on who ordered the reported redeployment of soldiers and who failed to act on the intelligence provided by the DSS. The Northern Elders Forum has said that ethnicity and greed remain a threat to the emergence of greater and better Nigeria, even as the 2023 general elections draw close. According to the group, the conduct of politicians is a determining factor in free and fair elections next year. The forum made this known in a statement by its Director of Publicity and Advocacy, Dr. Hakum Baba Ahmed, on Wednesday. It lamented that the choices of presidential running mates, which has been an issue with the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, is a sad reminder that the politicians will not allow our democratic system to grow beyond the narrowest of confinements. It stated that the nation is being carved into strongholds controlled by powerful individual politicians who must be placated at all costs, and we will pay a huge price if these politicians succeed in stamping their personalities into the democratic process. He further added that among a handful of other parties with the potential to make a difference, ethnicity and greed are threatening to frustrate the emergence of a nation with the capacity to turn around its fortunes in 2023. The group opined that they are deeply concerned over the development in many aspects of our politics as they relate to preparations for the 2023 elections and beyond. According to them, these developments threaten our already distressed democratic process. Doyin Okupe, Director General of P2B Campaign Organization, has submitted a letter to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) withdrawing from the position. The Director General Peter Obi Campaign Organization, Doyin Okupe, on Thursday announced his withdrawal as the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Okupe, who made this known via his verified Twitter handle at Doyin Okupe, noted that his party would announce the new running mate to the presidential candidate Peter Obi. ATN reports that, like the ruling All Progressive Congress, the Labour Party had named Okupe as the interim vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party in order to beat the deadline by the Independent National Electoral Commission. You are watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Still ahead, business report from our Lagos studio.
Good evening and welcome to the business desk of Global Business News. I am Godwin Sunday. Now to the news in details. Investors in the Nigerian stock market booked an additional 16 billion naira loss on Wednesday as bearish sentiments persist on the bourse. The market decreased by 0.06% at the close of trading as Union Bank led the league of laggers after its shares price decreased from a day open high of 6 naira 15 kobo to 5 naira 55 kobo, losing 60 kobo or 9.76%. It was followed by Champion Breweries PLC, which decreased from 4 naira to 3 naira 60 kobo after losing 40 kobo or 10%. NEM Insurance joined the league of top losers on the bourse after its share price decreased from 3 naira 80 kobo to 3 naira 42 kobo, down by 38 kobo or 10%. Followed by University Press PLC, which dropped from 2 naira 58 kobo to 2 naira 35 kobo, down by 23% or 8.91%. The market positive return year to date decreased further to plus 20.69%. At the close of the trading section on Wednesday, the market's key performance indicator, the all-share index, and market capitalization decreased further from the preceding trading day high of 51,586 and 27,810 trillion naira respectively to 51,556 points and 27,794 trillion. Transcorp, GTCO, UPDC, UBA, and CHAMS were top 5 traded stocks on the Nigerian Exchange Limited. In 3,745 deals, investors exchanged 135,258,629 shares valued at the industry. In line with global best practices, shareholders all over the world are entitled to be briefed about the current trends, dividends, and achievement that underscores their stock performance. It is on the premise that Industry and Medical Gases of Nigeria organized their annual general meeting to sensitize the public on stakeholders as well as shareholders of the potential in the sector, elect new members, and address critical issues in the industry and medical gas environment. Our correspondent joins us with this report. The Industry and Medical Gas Nigerian PLC held our annual general meeting today, and as part of the agenda of the meeting is the resolution on shares and the re-election of directors,
external auditors, and the audit committee thereon, to declare bonus shares, to re-elect directors, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company in compliance with Section 257.
Ended 31 December 2021 are satisfactory. C. Having reviewed the independent auditor's memorandum of recommendations on accounting procedures and internal controls, we are satisfied with management responses thereon. Finally, we acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of our duties. Members of the audit committee are as stated below.
Godwin Sunday, reporting for Atlantic Television Network, Lagos. Asia stocks market gained Thursday after the U.S. Federal Reserve said higher interest rates might be needed to cool inflation. Shanghai's Tokyo and Sydney advanced and Hong Kong declined, while oil prices fell more than $1 per barrel to stay below $100. Wall Street benchmark S&P 500 index gained 0.4% on Wednesday after notes from the latest Fed meeting said an even more restrictive stance could be appropriate to get inflation back to its 2% target. They acknowledge that could weaken the economy. Investors worry aggressive U.S. and European rate hikes to contain rising prices that are running at a 4-decade high might depress global economic activities. The Shanghai Composite Index rose to 0.1% to 3,359.16, and the Nikkei 225 in Tokyo gained 0.8% to 26,304. The Shanghai Shang in Hong Kong lost 0.3% to 21,527.48. The Gosling in Seoul climbed 1.8% to 2,333.74%, and Sydney's S&P AXX 200 was 0.3% higher at 6,613.30 points. New Zealand declined while Southeast Asia market advanced. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 rose to 3,845 to the Dow Jones Industry average gain of 0.2% to 31,037. The Nasdaq Composite added 0.3% to 11,361.85%. The Fed last month raised its key interest rate by 3/4 of a point to a range of 1.5% to 1.75%, the biggest single increase in nearly 3 decades. Jerome Powell suggested that at time a rate hike of 1/2 or 3/4 of a point, 3 times the Federal's usual margin, was likely when policymakers meet later this year. Oil prices closed below $100 per barrel on Tuesday for the first time since early May, but U.S. crude is still up more than 30% this year. Benchmark U.S. crude fell $1.04 to 97.49 per barrel in electronic trading on the New York Mercantile Exchange. The contract lost 97% to 98.53 a barrel on Wednesday. Brent crude, the price basic for international trading, lost $1.19 to $99.50 per barrel in London. It tumbled $2.08 the previous section to one. Well, this is just about the size of the business news. It's back to you in the studio. I am Godwin Sunday.
Thank you, Godwin. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Osun State Command has got a new commandant, Sunday Agbola. The new NSCDC commander took over from Commandant Emmanuel Ocheja. The commandant, while resuming duties in a statement by the NSCDC, Osun State Command spokesperson Olabisi Atanda declared his readiness for the forthcoming gubernatorial election in the state to make it peaceful. Agbola is a graduate of University of Lagos, where he obtained his first degree in economics. He also has an advanced diploma in security operations in the same university. Commandant Agbola is a holder of master's degree in law enforcement and criminal justice from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, amongst others. In his welcome address, Agbola said he is ready to fight insecurity in the state. ATN gathered that Agbola has worked in different states of the nation and in various capacities, such as the head of department, operations, Gombe State Command, head of department, training and manpower development at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, head of department, private guard company, monitoring and supervision at the national headquarters, Abuja. Mixed reaction traced establishment of a regulatory authority as the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values conduct public hearing on the bill for an act to establish a regulatory authority for the broadcast industry on Thursday. Stakeholders in the industry wanted a self-regulatory authority to sanitize activities of its practitioners. Others, including the NBC, insist that status quo should remain. The bill seeks to regulate the broadcast industry to meet current realities like other professional bodies, like in the law, medicine, and engineering profession. Stakeholders in support of the proposed legislation argued that the broadcast industry needs something similar like the Broadcast Society of Nigeria to ease out quacks. The Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, however, disagreed with this position, stating that its approval will amount to a duplication since the body already has the mandate to regulate the broadcast industry. On his part, the Chief Executive Officer of Morrison Communication, Honorable Chinyere Igwe, clarified the role of the bill for an act to establish the Chartered of Management and a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Information Management. Chairman of the committee in his final submission promised to ensure that all submissions made will be looked into when the commission submits its report at the committee of the whole. Other Ona Ifowodo reports that the committee thereafter adjourned the hearing since then. The federal government has declared Monday 11th and Tuesday 12th July 2022 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid el-Kabir celebration. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, who made this known in a statement on Thursday, congratulated all Muslims and Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora. He urged Nigerians to take responsibility by reporting any suspicious individuals and criminal activities they observe around to law enforcement agencies with the use of the N-Alert application that has been designed to mitigate security challenges with a prompt response from security agencies. He also enjoined all Nigerians to be vigilant and observant of intruders in their communities. House of Representatives has directed the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to provide all record relating to imported premium motor spirit (PMS), where they were supplied, as well as relevant inspection certificates. The direction was given during an investigative hearing of the House Ad Hoc Committee investigating the volume of PMS consumption in the country. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, represented by an executive director in charge of distribution system, storage and infrastructure, Mr. Obu Okeha, appeared before the ad hoc committee to brief it on the volume of PMS consumption. He said the only reliable information is the truck-in, truck-out records by the agency, as the authority cannot speak to the consumption of PMS in the country.
In the records we have sent, we're only able to give information about truck-outs, and I will explain why that is so. We have presence in over 200 depots. Currently, no refinery is working. So every product that is coming in is imported, and there's only one supplier of that PMS. So they are received via vessels at the terminals, and they're discharged into depots, storage tanks and all. Then they are then trucked out from those storage tanks. At each of those over 200 depots, we have our staff manning those depots. And the most reliable data we can offer is the truck outs from those. Unfortunately, we're not able to speak to the consumption. For us, consumption is something that requires a multi-agency collaboration. For instance, with the weak data framework in Nigeria, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics will, for instance, will have to work with them to know how many vehicles you have in Nigeria, the disaggregation of those vehicles into diesel consumption, PMS consumption, what's the number of generators, petrol-powered generators we have. And until we're able to work together with other agencies, I believe that it might be very difficult to give exact figures on consumption.
Reacting to the presentation by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, some members of the committee said they are not satisfied as the information were not adequate.
You are the authority, regulatory authority, midstream and downstream, ought to know everything. I thought you have told us that social volume came in and social volume went out. I believe you have depot managers. Now you are trying to fool us by telling us the number of trucks left. Can you tell us the volume left behind after the truck out? Because we want to know the usage. We didn't want to know the number of trucks that you have. Then you need to know what kind of trucks. Is it Bridger, 30,000 liters or 5,000 liter truck? Are you coming here to tell us based on truckers and so on? But please tell us, who are your depot managers? If you give us what is left in every depot after the truck. It should be specific, not the truck. And now he's saying truck, that tells us the thousands or millions of liters. That's what we need to know, not the number of trucks. I have no business with trucks. The investigation is to find out the quantity of usage, not the number of trucks. You just started telling us that trucks move in and out. Meanwhile, on bad roads, that's where the truck up and down. We need to know the liters.
I don't know why you will not even give us the total sales by marketers. These marketers have records of their daily sales. They use machines to sell. They are not selling from a drum. They are not just fetching it and pouring it somewhere. They are pumping out, and the records of these pumps these pumps takes record. Why are we not having the records of sales by Owando, record of sales by Mobil, record of sales by Total, local records of sales by independent marketers? This is the only way we can ascertain the volume of PMS, used in our country. Otherwise, all this will just be rigmaroling around the issues and we will not get to where the answers are. So we need the record of sales made by the marketers, the major marketers, and the independent
market.
Given his ruling, the chairman of the committee, Honorable Abdul Samad Abdul Kadi, directed the agency to provide documents that are relevant to the investigation.
We want the pricing templates for premium motor spirit that have been published between 2015 till date, and also justify the astronomical increase in the cost elements. Number two, list of all the depots and tank farms and their storage capacity in Nigeria. 3. List of all the fueling stations with their storage capacities and record of daily sales in Nigeria between 2015 till date. Then 5. Record of sales of PMS from all the depots and tank farm between 2015 to date. And then 6. Provide record of all PMS imported and were supplied with relevant institutions. We want answers from you.
Other Honor Ifowodo reports that the documents are to be presented to the committee at its next hearing. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC Jigawa State Command said it has deployed 900 personnel to public places ahead of Eid el-Kabir celebrations in the state. This was contained in a press statement signed by the spokesman of the command, CSE Adamu Shehu, issued to ATN. He said the personnel were mobilized across the state to provide maximum security for the lives and properties of the citizens before, during, and after the Eid el-Kabir celebrations. He explained that the deployment of the personnel followed the directives of the state commandant, Musa Alhaji Mala, who also urged officers to be civil and exhibit a high level of professionalism whilst conducting the operation. He further stressed that his men will work in synergy with other security agencies to provide security at Eid and Durbar grounds, government buildings and installations, markets and shopping malls, motor parks and other vulnerable areas. The commandant urged the general public to be law-abiding and assist in the maintenance of law and order. Be vigilant and report any suspicious movements to the nearest security formation for a prompt response in Jigawa. The federal government of Nigeria and the European Union have commenced plans for a new migration partnership with Nigeria to readmit citizens into the country and tackle illegal migration for the mutual interest of both countries. The Director, Consular and Legal Department of Nigeria, Ambassador Nicholas Agbo, Ella, had held a negotiation section with EU delegates at the Foreign Ministry in Abuja on Thursday. Our Abuja correspondent Nyoma Omeje has more details.
Migration and mobility have been at the center of cooperation between the European Union and the African Union. The two continents experience shared challenges resulting from the migration flows within their territories, which have led to the adoption of a shared responsibility approach that has yielded significant results. The director and chief leader of the Nigerian delegation, Ambassador Nicholas Ella, restated the need to renegotiate previous agreements with European Union and maintain honest deliberations on migration matters for the cooperation and mutual interest of both countries in higher levels of relationship.
Today, we are taking bold steps to renegotiate the agreement that we have repeatedly agreed on. Some texts and lapse back again on some of them. Let it be that history will judge us this time around as we begin negotiation on the agreement, hoping that we'll be able to conclude on this agreement within agreed timeline. Nigeria and the EU have maintained long-standing relationship and partnership that covered all aspects of our development agenda, and the agreement on readmission is just an aspect of the relationship we should nurture in good faith and implement in the spirit of our partnership. I wish to state that the Nigerian delegation comes into this meeting in the spirit of cooperation and mutuality of interest, which we believe will underpin the negotiation of this readmission agreement. We intend to be frank and objective, and in that mindset to maintain an honest and robust discussion with the EU on migration matters, believing that we will cherish and respect each other's views on the various issues before us for consideration.
The European Union chief negotiator and leader of the delegation, Jonas Luca, in his response reiterated the need for both parties to have a good spirit towards the implementation of these agreements.
Is in the implementation. And as you said, Ambassador, efforts are already ongoing in return and readmission. And therefore, what is the most important aspect for us is the spirit in which these negotiations are held, because that spirit will determine also how we then implement any agreement we come up with. On the issues you mentioned that are difficult or unacceptable for Nigeria, I would also want to underline that in the spirit of creating a situation where both of us benefit, what will in the end count for the EU side is the overall balance of the agreement. The most important aspect on that you mentioned, you have a number of agreements with member states, you have successful cooperation with Switzerland, and we would also want to build on what has already been achieved and negotiated in these agreements to the extent that we can.
The EU ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Samuela Isopi, expressed confidence in the outcome of the negotiation and the need to work together to achieve broader engagements.
So I'm very confident. I've been working since my arrival here last year, every day, to get, today, to try to resume these negotiations today. And I feel confident that building on that trust and with the same constructive spirit, we can also find a sustainable way to manage together irregular migration to Europe. This would help move forward on many other issues and work together also on positive measures in the framework of our cooperation or our broader engagement. So as you said, Mr. Ambassador, this agreement should be seen in the broader context and as part of our broader engagements.
Speaking in an interview, the Nigerian ambassador to Belgium, Ambassador Obinna Onowu, assured Nigerians that the negotiation will put an end to the many migration challenges faced by Nigerians since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic.
We are discussing migration, which is important for both sides. Today we expect that we're going to have a structure to manage the movement to EU and out of EU, basically from out of EU. But then at the same time, we're also looking at the issue from a comprehensive perspective, in the sense that we not just talking about returns, we're also looking at how to ensure that also we provide the access to legal migration, and then also for reintegration and other things attached to the exercise.
In view of a successful negotiation, Nigeria and European Union will continue to pursue with increased vigor its long-standing friendship and engagement with a view of delivering more results in their partnership. Reporting for Atlantic Television Network, I am Norma Omeje.
The Department of State Service, DSS, has debunked reports that its personnel were among inmates who escaped from the Kuje Correctional Center in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, that was attacked by terrorists on Tuesday. A statement issued by its public relations officer, Peter Afunaya, said the report alleged that one of the escaping inmates who claimed to be a DSS personnel was apprehended by NCS operatives near Kwali after a chase. The report further stated that the so-called DSS operative also claimed to be carrying out a special mission in the forest. The spokesperson further stated that the service wishes to state that none of its personnel was involved in the escape episode. In fact, at the point of the attack on the prison, no DSS personnel was an inmate at the holding facility, just as the claim of carrying out a special assignment was non-existent. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Up next, international tidbits. Boris Johnson resigned on Thursday as leader of Britain's Conservative Party, paving the way for the selection of a new prime minister after dozens of ministers quit his scandal-hit government. Johnson announced that he would step down after a slew of resignations from his top team in protest at his leadership, but would stay on as prime minister until a replacement is found. He added that the timetable for a Tory leadership race will be announced next week. After 3 tumultuous years in office defined by Brexit, the COVID pandemic, and non-stop controversy over his reputation for mendacity, the BBC and others reported that the leadership election would take place over the summer and the victor will replace Johnson at the party's annual conference in early October. Ukrainian troops have landed on Snake Island, where they raised Ukraine's flag, according to officials, 1 week after Russian forces withdrew from the strategic islet in the Black Sea. Andriy Yermak, the Ukrainian president's chief of staff, posted a video on Telegram on Thursday of 3 soldiers raising a large flag. The spokesperson for the military administration in the southern Odessa region, Shahi Braktukus, also published several photos on Telegram. Later, Russia's defense ministry said a Russian fighter jet had hit and killed an unspecified number of Ukrainian troops. However, the details of the account could not be independently verified. Pakistani officials have confirmed that a 12-year-old boy suspected to be working illegally at a coal mine was among at least 9 people killed by a flash flood at a quarry. Its officer said the mine is about 350 feet deep and they are trying to recover the body of the boy. Police said torrential monsoon rain inundated the mine in Jampir, 120 kilometers east of Karachi. Poverty and the weak implementation of labor laws see millions of children exploited in often hazardous work environments in Pakistan. Haiti has marked 1 year since President Jovenel Moise was shot dead in his private residence, with no mastermind or motive for the attack yet identified and the investigation stalled. Moise was assassinated in the early hours of July 7, 2021. Haitian police arrested about 20 people within hours, including 18 former Colombian soldiers presumed to be hired as mercenaries. But that initial speed has been followed by a glacial legal process in Haiti and the United States. The challenges have deepened in recent weeks as the prosecutors' offices in the Haitian capital have been invaded by one of the gangs plaguing the country. The United Nations office in Haiti issued a statement on the anniversary expressing concern over lack of tangible progress in the search for justice. Let's now join Adobe for entertainment stories.
Hello, good evening. My name is Adobe. Welcome to the entertainment segment of the Global News. And today on the news, we're starting off with the story of Nigerian music executive Efe Ogbeni, who has been sued for his involvement in fraud in the United States of America. The music executive has been dragged before United States District Court of Western Tennessee by Prime Reality Ventures LLC, a venture capital company in the United States, for allegedly defrauding the company and its principal to the tune of $250,000. He was dragged alongside Olayinka Odunlami and Nelly Nwabugu for obtaining money under false pretenses. The matter has since been reported to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. And in Zimbabwe, self-proclaimed prophet Passion Java has said he was out of the country when one of his vehicles hit and killed a pedestrian along Seke Road near Jongwe Corner. In a post on Facebook, Java said he was in Tanzania where he was preaching. The BMW vehicle, which was being driven by his driver, is said to have been on its way to Robert Gabriel Mwagbe International Airport to pick him up when the accident occurred. Twitter users had claimed Java was in the vehicle but changed vehicles when it occurred. The police spokesperson, Assistant Commissioner Paul Nyath, has assured the people that they are still investigating the case. We move to the foreign scene now. American rapper Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, has been sentenced to 3 years probation and a year in-home detention after failing to register as a sex offender in Los Angeles. According to page 6, Petty was sentenced on Wednesday after pleading guilty in 2021. He was also ordered to pay a $55,000 fine. It would be recalled that in September 2021, Petty pleaded guilty during a virtual court hearing to a charge of failure to register as a sex offender in California. 22-year-old cheer star Jerry Harris has been sentenced to 12 years in prison in his child pornography case. Harris of suburban Naperville had pleaded guilty earlier this year to 1 count each of receiving child pornography and traveling with the intention to engage in illegal sexual conduct. He was arrested in September 2020 on a charge of production of child pornography. Prosecutors alleged at the time that he solicited videos and images from 2 14-year-old brothers. United States District Judge Manish Shah also ordered that the sentence be followed by 8 years of court-supervised release. Shah told Harris to consider the sentence an expression of the seriousness of his crimes, tempered with some hope that all is not lost for him or his victims and that some healing can occur. Eric Holder Jr., the man who shot and killed Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle, has been convicted of first-degree murder. Holder had also been charged with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder because 2 bystanders were hit by gunfire, but the jury found him guilty of 2 counts of attempted voluntary manslaughter instead. On Wednesday, a jury of 9 women and 3 men decided Eric Ronald Holder Jr. acted with premeditation when he opened fire on the musician with a black semi-automatic in one hand and a silver revolver in the other during an afternoon ambush at a strip mall parking lot. Deputy District Attorney John McKinney said there was no doubt Holder knew he'd kill Hussle, adding that Holder shot Hussle at least 10 times and kicked him in the head before running away. And that's all on the news today. I am Adobe. Thanks so much for watching. Back to the news desk.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports Desk in ATN Global News. I am Empress Tikili. The Confederation of African Football has today released the first list of nominees for the women's categories for the CAF Awards 2022, and 7 Nigerian players have made the list. The categories for the award include Player of the Year, Interclub Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, and Club of the Year. The first list has one Nigerian club in the Club of the Year category, while 4 of the 7 players are in the Player of the Year category. The nominees for 2 other categories, Coach of the Year and National Team of the Year, will be revealed in due course, and the performances at the ongoing Women's AFCON will be taken into consideration in deciding on the nominees for the 2 categories. The winners of the respective categories will be announced at the awards gala on the 21st of July this year in Rabat, Morocco. Tunisia 13 Ange Jabboua has become the first Arab and African woman to reach a Grand Slam singles final with victory today at the Centre Court. Jabboua defeated German mother of 2 Tatiana Maria in the last 4 at Wimbledon 6-2, 3-6, 6-1. The 27-year-old, who is known as the Minister of Happiness in her country, will now face Elena Rybakina in Saturday's showpiece. English footballer Joe Gomez has agreed to a new 5-year deal that will keep him at Anfield till 2027. The announcement of the 25-year-old's deal comes following speculation of a possible exit, with Aston Villa and Newcastle among the clubs linked. Gomez, who has already been with the Reds for 7 seasons, is now due to stay for over a decade. Though injuries have marred his time in Merseyside, the England defender has already made 142 appearances for the club, excelling at both centre-back and right-back. Leeds United have completed the signing of Colombian winger Luis Sinisterra from Dutch Eredivisie side Feyenoord on the 5-year deal. The 5-year contract at Elland Road is reportedly worth £21 million. Sinisterra scored 23 goals and registered 14 assists in 49 appearances for Feyenoord last season. The 23-year-old, who was named UEFA Europa Conference League Young Player of the Season, is seen by many as a replacement for Rafinha, who is currently holding out for a move to Barcelona, with Chelsea also keen on getting the winger. And that wraps up the sports news. I am Empress Tikili, taking you to the news desk.
Thank you, Empress Tikili. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers farmers blame the state government for low food production. Court disqualifies Obeveri as PDP governorship candidate, recognizes Edevie. Ekweremadu, kidney donor 21, not 15, UK court rules. Nasarawa confirms 6 monkeypox cases in 2 local government areas. Federal government declares Monday, Tuesday public holidays for Salah celebrations. NSCDC deploys 900 personnel for hitch-free celebration in Jigawa. Boris Johnson steps down as conservative leader. Thanks for joining us. I am Victor Arke. You can, however, follow us on all our social media handles: Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network. Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do have a lovely evening.
It's the people making the difference in our time on ATN Icons. Here, we present you legends celebrated for their heroism in different fields and serve as role models today. ATN Icons, showing every Sunday 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Atlantic Television.